The story begins on a somber note as young Bobby Thornberry arrives at the Thornberry funeral home. His parents, tragically killed in a car accident, have left him orphaned and forced to seek refuge with his only living relative, his uncle Ezra Thornberry, a funeral director. The atmosphere is cold and unwelcoming as Bobby nervously enters the funeral home during a memorial service, his suitcase clumsily hitting the floor and interrupting the mournful proceedings. Ezra, the epitome of a two-faced miser, greets mourners with syrupy kindness, comforting them until the moment they leave. Behind closed doors, however, his true nature emerges, a sharp-tongued, heartless man who treats his assistant, Clyde, with disdain. When Bobby explains that he has no one else to turn to, Ezra initially balks at the responsibility, but when he realizes that Bobby can be exploited for free labor, his demeanor shifts. He begrudgingly takes the boy in, shoving him into the attic and providing a stretcher as his makeshift bed. Ezra wastes no time in putting Bobby to work, teaching him the grim tasks of the funeral business. The boy, still grieving his parents, is horrified by the morbid duties, especially the blood-draining process. Over time, Bobby begins to notice his uncle's stingy and unethical practices. Ezra substitutes tap water for embalming fluid, hoards gold teeth pulled from corpses, and sells cheap pine caskets as if they were fine oak. The elder Thornberry even justifies his actions with self-righteous Bible verses, twisting scripture to suit his avarice. As Bobby tries to adapt to his harsh new life, Ezra's cruelty escalates. When a mix-up with a pine casket angers a wealthy client who had ordered oak, Ezra blames Bobby for the mistake. In a fit of rage, he savagely beats the boy with a crowbar. The brutal assault leaves Bobby with a severe spinal injury, forcing him to rely on crutches for the rest of his life. Ezra, lying to the doctor, claims Bobby fell down the stairs. Despite his injuries, Bobby continues to endure his uncle's abuse. The final straw comes when Ezra sells Bobby's cherished Air Jordan sneakers to cover rising medical expenses. Furious and heartbroken, Bobby threatens to go to the sheriff and reveal how he truly became crippled. Seeing an opportunity to rid himself of his nephew and make use of the extra pine coffin, Ezra concocts a sinister plan. Ezra lures Bobby to the top of the basement stairs under the pretense of retrieving something. Then, with calculated malice, he throws Bobby's basketball at him. The ball strikes the boy, causing him to tumble down the stairs and snap his neck. Showing no remorse, Ezra sets about preparing Bobby's body for burial. He drains the boy's blood, embalms him with tap water, and discovers a new problem. Bobby's body is too tall for the cheap coffin. Ezra coldly resolves this issue by sawing off his nephew's legs at the ankles. At Bobby's wake, murmurs of suspicion ripple through the attendees. Guests note the unusually short coffin for a boy who was clearly tall in life. Clyde, suspecting Ezra's guilt but lacking proof, quits the funeral home, leaving Ezra to wallow in his isolation. Ezra's solitude is far from peaceful. Late one night, he is awakened by a persistent knocking at the door. When he answers, no one is there. Returning inside, he is plagued by eerie disturbances, faucets running on their own, lights flickering, and strange noises. Convinced Clyde is playing a prank, Ezra tries to dismiss his unease. But when Bobby's basketball suddenly bounces down the stairs and stops at his feet, the true terror begins. Before Ezra can react, Bobby exacts his revenge. He kicks his uncle down the stairs with one of his remaining Air Jordan-clad feet, leaving the older man paralyzed from the fall. A ghostly figure descends the stairs. It is Bobby, now a legless zombie, using his crutches to move. His presence is chilling, but his voice is calm and deliberate as he recites the phrase, "Blood is thicker than water." Helpless and terrified, Ezra watches as Bobby drags himself closer, crowbar in hand. With poetic justice, the boy beats his uncle to death, the same way Ezra had once maimed him.